Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Warwickshire in the United Kingdom, right in the heart of the country, not far from Stratford-on-Avon for those of you that like a bit of Shakespeare. So today I haven't got anything to show you. Yeah, of course I have. So today I'm working with the Sweet as a Peach stamp set and creating this layered card, adding some extra colour to both my peach and the flowers, although I'm actually going to use the peach stamps just to show you how not only does this trio of flowers but the trio of peaches works with this same leaf stamp. This is the stamp set I'm using, and you could cut them by hand if you wanted to, but they would be a bit fiddly. But I'm using the peach dies that go with them to create our pretty flower, along with layering circles. So these are a really good staple to have in your stash. The layering circles have got both the scalloped and the plain circles, so you get both of them ready to layer up, and I've used a range of size. So I've used one of the smaller ones for my Have a Peachy Day, that one there, and then I've used sort of the larger ones just to get that really tight layering. I can't even remember which one I used. Was it the very largest one? Not quite, so it would be this one. So I've used this one here to create my scalloped circle, and then I've used the second size plain circle, and that gives you, when you finish, a really pretty narrow border, which I rather like. It's personal preference. I prefer a narrower border on these scallops. Some people prefer a bigger border. So that's what you need. So a scallop, a plain and a smaller one, and we're going to do some stamping onto those, and obviously stamping some peaches as well. Now this is a photopolymer stamp set, so you know what I'm going to say next. That means we're using our Stampin' Pierce mat. There we go. Okay, so first of all, my peach. So you're going to want, I like to grab my sponge dauber to create the stuff shading. So because I'm using Calypso Coral here for my layers, I'm going to use Calypso Coral for the accent, and I'm actually going to go for Petal Pink rather than the Pale Papaya. This is a more peachy toned one. So I'm just going to tap that up and then add my colour with a dauber, and you can add as much or as little as you want, obviously, with those. I just want a single peach, which I've got there. I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Calypso Coral, just in the centre there. Sweet as a Peach. And then I'm going to stamp some flowers and leaves as well. So my leaves I'm just going to do in Plain Pear Pizzazz. But I'm going to do the peaches this time to go onto the stamp set. Onto the circle. So first of all I'm going to do my flowers. I'm going to do my leaves. I'm just going to come across diagonally with those to give my leaves, and then I'm going to do the same sort of thing that I've done with my big peach with the smaller ones. So ink up with your lighter colour and then come in and just add, and I sort of add all along just the same sort of edge on them. Quick huff, and then line those up. So with this one it's quite easy. The pointy peach is bottom right, and there we've got our lovely peaches. So now we're going to do some die cutting. So I've already cut my circle out. If I was being frugal, what I would actually do is create my card base and my layer. So I've taken up 29 by 10.5 centimetre card base, so that's 11.5 by 4 1/8, which I've scored at 14.5 or 5 3/4. I've then taken a layer there which is just 1/8 of an inch, so that's 4 by 5 5/8, or 10.3 by 14.3, and I would die cut my scallop out of that for ease, or for to be frugal. So that's my next layer, and then I've gone 10 by 14, 3 7/8 by 5 1/2 for my layer of Calypso coral paper as well. So if I quickly do my bits of die cutting, I always add, well, these days I do tend to add a bit of post-it note to my die, just to help keep that in place. Not least of all because particularly when I'm on a video and I'm moving stuff about, it's more likely to jump and move. And with the Stampin' Up dies, just make sure that you sort of pick a point, like I sort of pick the stem, and make sure you don't see much white around your image, and that usually means that it's well lined up to cut through and get a nice even border around. Now of course it could be that you don't like a white border, in which case stamp it on coloured cardstock. So you'd obviously stamp the peach here probably on some petal pink, and you'd probably stamp the leaf on the pear pizzazz. It gives a different look. Most of the projects I've tended to do on Whisper White, I don't mind that white border around, and then you can always go in. You could always go in and colour it if you wanted to add a bit of pool party around the outside edge, just to create a bit of interest as well. So I've just used the mini cut and emboss machine. As you can see, good sized plate, and everything is labelled up in the catalogue on which it will actually fit with, which die cutting machine. So if it fits in the mini cut and emboss, it will in fact tell you that. There's a little, you'll find a little image next to the dies, and that means that, you know, before you go away, you can you know, decide which machine you can take with you, or it might, or rather, more likely, you're taking the little machine and you decide which projects you're going to do while you're away. Just a quick tip, I've just noticed that I've my edge on that was raised slightly, so I'm just running over with my bone folder just to flatten that down. When you use your trimmer, sometimes that happens, particularly with a fresh blade. It leaves a slightly raised edge, so just smooth that down really easily. And in fact, pop that on there. So it just gives a really narrow border all the way around. Just a nice clean finish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my disc of my layered circle. Really must dive into my adhesives box and grab a new tub of Tombow. And I'm just going to layer that onto the top. And then once I've done that, I'm going to line up a couple of scallops, and I'm going to put those in the groove of my trimmer and run my blade over those, just to give myself a nice straight edge so that I can then layer it up. So I see, let's pop a couple of dimensionals on the edge. So my usual, one in each corner and one in the middle. Make sure it's well supported. And if you've put a line on the back of your dimensionals, it makes it much easier to see what you haven't done. And so I'm just going to line that up on with the DSP. So there's my peachy image. I've lost my peach. It's stuck to the bottom of my... Okay. So next you want to take your peach, your leaf and your sweet as a peach. I've just noticed I haven't actually added my little, these are super dinky flowers. Just add a pretty accent to that die cut. and then we can finish creating. So for this I'm actually going to just shape those slightly and then add them. So a little bit of Tombow, that's in a fine tip, just onto the peach there. I'm just going to flip that over while that dries. And I'm going to add my sentiment here first. I'm just going to tuck it underneath there. So all you need to do is, I'm just adding it flat glued onto the card front now. And tuck that under. And then this one, I'm going to add a dimensional to the top there, and to the leaf. And then I'm actually going to put a double, another dimensional at the very bottom, and then stick another one on top, because actually what I'm going to do, if you think about it, is I've added a layer on top of, I'll be adding a layer on top of the die cut scallop circle, which is already lifted up on dimensionals, so you need twice the depth. So I'm just going to add that now. So you see I've got two there and one each there, and then just pop that in place. So there we have a couple of peachy cards, adding a bit of extra colour to our peaches, two-tone colour. I've used similar effect here by daubing the flowers as well, and those flowers and peaches, as you can see, fit within that same stamped leaf, so you get double the fun. Thank you for watching. Come back and see me again soon, and if you'd like to purchase any of the products, just click on the links below this video or on my blog. You'll find picture images there, and I'd love it if you subscribed and chose me as a demonstrator. It really does make a difference. So thanks for watching. Bye now.